Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today I wanted to talk about similar triangles. The first thing we have to understand is what do we mean by when we say similar triangles. So here's a triangle before you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a copy of it. So I'm going to select this triangle over here. I'm going to place it right there. And then I'm going to make another copy and I'm going to enlarge it like this and put it over here like that. So now what we have are three triangles. Now these two triangles over here are congruent triangles because I basically cut paste over there. And these two triangles over here, they're not congruent obviously, but they are similar. So let's give these triangles some names. So we can say triangle ABC is congruent to triangle GHI. And then we can say triangle ABC is similar to triangle DEF over here. Now, just like in congruent triangles, with similar triangles, you have to be very careful in how you name the triangles and the order of the vertices. So you have to go in the same order. Now, what you observe, of course, is that these three triangles, all of them have corresponding angles that are congruent. In other words, you can have two triangles that have all the corresponding angles are congruent, and they can be either congruent triangles or they can be similar triangles. So all the corresponding interior angles being congruent does not necessarily mean that the triangles are congruent. It could also mean that they are similar. We have established before that all polygons that are similar have to have two special criteria. And if you recall, these two special criteria were that one, all the corresponding angles have to be congruent, and all the corresponding sides have to be proportional. So, for two triangles to be similar, all the corresponding angles have to be congruent, and all the corresponding sides have to be proportional. In congruent triangles, all the corresponding sides are congruent like this, and in similar triangles, all the corresponding sides are proportional. So let's say if we call this A, and this side B, and this side C, and let's call this side D, and this side E, and this side F, all the corresponding sides would establish proportions, such as A over D is going to be equal to B over E, and that would have to equal to C over F like this. So that is the difference between congruent triangles and similar triangles. In congruent triangles, all the angles are congruent and all the sides are congruent. And in similar triangles, all the corresponding angles are congruent and all the corresponding sides are proportional. Now, how do we prove triangles to be similar? If you recall, these were the four ways that we proved triangles to be congruent. Side, 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 angle, side, side, angle, and angle, angle, side. And there was another one for right triangles, the hypotenuse leg. Now, sometimes students know side, 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 angle, side, and angle, side, angle, and angle, angle, side. And that's how you prove triangles to be congruent. And then, but they can't express what side, side, side means. So I ask them, okay, what is side, side, side? And they go, side, side, side. Well, you have to understand what they mean first, okay? And once you understand what that means for congruent triangles, then you can apply that for similar triangles because, believe it or not, you use the same postulates and theorems to prove triangles to be similar. It's that easy. So first, let's review these. So what side, side, side for congruent triangles means is that if you have two triangles such that three corresponding sides are congruent, then the triangles are congruent. What side, angle, side for congruent triangles means that if you have two triangles such that two corresponding sides are congruent and the included angle is congruent, then the two triangles are congruent. And what angle, side, angle for congruent triangles means is that if you have two triangles such that two angles are congruent and the included side is congruent, then the two triangles are congruent. And finally, what angle, angle, side for congruent triangles means is that if you have two triangles such that two corresponding angles are congruent and one of the sides is congruent, then the two triangles are congruent. So that's how you state these postulates and theorems. The first three are postulates, the last one is a theorem. See, the way you prove triangles similar is by using the same postulates and theorem. So basically, I could just cut and paste. So let's do that. But you have to understand what that means. See, for congruent triangles, when we say side, 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 it's like this. If you have two triangles such that all three corresponding sides are congruent, then the triangles are congruent. But for similar triangles, side, side, side for similar triangles, that's how you state that, side, side, side for similar triangle. It means that if you have two triangles such that all three sides are proportional, then the triangles are similar. Let me say that again. If you have two triangles such that all three sides are proportional, then the triangles are similar. Now, there is one postulate, however, that is the starting point, so to speak, for proving triangles similar. And that is Angle Postulate. Now, this postulate is only for similar triangles. You cannot use Angle Postulate to prove triangles congruent. Now, what I sometimes do is I write this as angles, because everything is like in triplets, so I just make it triplet. What this means that if you have two triangles such that all three angles are congruent, then the triangles are similar. Just like what we have here. If you have two triangles such that all three angles are congruent, then the triangles are similar. The triangles, obviously, they don't have to be congruent, but they are similar. So the angle postulate states that if you have two triangles such that the corresponding angles are congruent, then the triangles are similar. Now, the reason I put the last angle in parentheses is because you really don't need it. Because if you have two angles of a triangle congruent to two angles of a second triangle, by the third angle theorem, these two angles have to be congruent, right? So it's a little redundant to say angle. So, now you must understand this. This is very, very critical. Now what you observe really is, all you need to prove triangles similar is that two angles of one triangle congruent to two angles of a second triangle, those two triangles have to be similar. So proving triangles in some way is very easy. All you need is two angles to be congruent. Now, look what happens. In angle side angle, we have two angles. And in angle side, we have two angles. So these two also simplify. We kind of don't need these, do we? Because as long as you have two angles, we have proven that those two triangles are similar. So in angle side angle, this side is redundant. In angle side, this side is redundant. In other words, we don't really need angle side angle to prove triangles similar. We don't really need angle side to prove triangles to be similar, because as long as you have two angles, you got it done. So really, there are only three ways that we have to remember how to prove triangles to be similar. Angle postulate, side, side, side theorem for similar triangles. So when you use side, 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 you have to specify now. You have to say side, side, side for congruent triangles, or you have to say side, side, side for similar triangles. And then you have to say side, angle, side theorem for similar triangles like this. So there we have it. These are the three ways you prove triangles to be similar. Angle postulate, side, side, side theorem, and side, angle, side theorem for similar triangles. Now, just like you have to understand what it means to say side, side, side for congruent triangles, you have to understand what it means to say side, side, side for similar triangles, side, angle, side for similar triangles. Let's go through this. So the angle similarity postulate states that if you have two triangles such that two angles are congruent, then the triangles are similar. In this case, triangle ABC is similar to triangle DEF. Now, what the side, side, side similarity theorem states, that if you have two triangles such that all three sides are not congruent but proportional. So if you have two triangles such as all three sides are proportional, then the two triangles are similar. And what the side angle side similarity theorem states, that if you have two triangles such that two of the corresponding sides are proportional and the included angle is congruent, then the triangles are similar. So really, there are only three ways to prove triangles to be similar, and that's quite easy. So, as a review, Triangles are similar when all their interior angles are congruent and all the corresponding sides are proportional. We reviewed how we prove triangles to be congruent. I suggested you can use the same concepts and elaborate on them, and extrapolate on them in helping us prove triangles to be similar. And we suggested that the most important postulates for proving triangles to be similar is the angle postulate, because you really only need two angles to prove triangles to be similar. And then we suggested then angle side angle was redundant, and angle side was redundant, and then we really only left were only three. That's angle postulate, side theorem, and side angle side theorem in proving triangles to be similar. Inshallah, next time we shall do some sample problems and elaborate on this. Until then, as-salatu was-salamu ala rasulillah walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Assalamu alaikum.